It's our first morning waking up on the cruise, and I've woken up to be greeted by the familiar sights of the St. Martin port. I actually can't count the number of times I've been before. Every time I was here in the past, I think we used to use it as a tender port, so we used to park out at sea, out that way, and then we'd all take turns tendering in. Used to be a fantastic experience as I'm sitting there with my sunglasses on the tender boat, bouncing over the waves, with the wind blowing through my hair and all that kind of jazz. It smells different. In fact, it just smells really strongly of cannabis again. That wasn't something that I noticed when I used to come here, so I wonder if it's been legalised here as well. Anyway, St. Martin's a really interesting island. It's actually split into two halves, not exact halves. One half is Dutch and the other half is French. You can visit both halves. They both actually have a really different feel to them. Once upon a time we hired quad bikes and we actually explored both sides, which was a really nice thing to do. Today, not sure what we're going to do, probably just have a little wander around the town and go and sit on a beach or something like that. Not really thought it through yet. First step though is to go and grab a little bit of breakfast. I'm already dying for vegetables and fibre. I don't know if that's kind of a hang back from when I used to work on these ships and vegetables were kind of a naughty word. So let's have some breakfast. First day breakfast, first day impressions. It is absolutely jam-packed here, really difficult to find a seat. Excellent choice of food. The non-self-service thing is a little bit strange though, because I kind of fancy one thing from each stall, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, whether I just go to one stall and say, can I just have bacon added to the plate, and then another to get something else. So I've got avocado on toast and salmon bread as well, and then from one of the other ones I think I fancy some bacon, and I kind of fancy an egg benedict or an egg florentine or something like that as well. So I guess I will have 3 or 4 just one-piece breakfast things. That's us off the ship, really smooth process. We basically just walked down to the gangplank and got off. We didn't actually have to have anything x-rayed on the way off, although I think we probably will on the way back on again. Really quite windy just here, so I'm very much hoping that you can hear me over the wind noise. Just a quick look at the ship, because this is the first time that we can see it without a building in the way. Doesn't she look absolutely massive? A little bit on the grey side though. Docked next to us again for a second day in a row is one of the Celebrity X ships, the Celebrity Summit. So, hello to them. So just a quick mention of some of the useful features of the Virgin app for the cruise. Firstly, it pops up with all sorts of useful notifications. For instance, when our cases were seized by the security because they needed to check that my power adapter didn't contain a thermonuclear warhead, we got a notification in the app, just a pop-up notification on the screen, which was really quite helpful, telling us that we should go down to deck 4 and speak to security. We got another one when they tried to take a £200 deposit from our card, which meant that our bank flagged up a suspicious activity alert and put a temporary hold on the card until we confirmed it. So that sent another message and asked us to go back down to deck 4 again and speak to the customer services, who are actually on deck 5, not deck 4, sorry, my mistake. Also, there are notifications about things like embarkation and disembarkation times, which is really helpful, as well as the odd advertising feature. For instance, we've just had one popping through saying, "Ahoy sailors, no plans for dinner? Please come enjoy our chef's specials, winging it sliced coconut and key lime chicken wings, corn succotash, fried fish and hand-cut chips with tartar sauce at Diner and Dash on the Galley, deck 15, midships." So that's really interesting. I don't know what succotash is, and I'm not going to find out because we're going somewhere else for dinner. So that's going to be one of those little mysteries of life. Another little mystery of life is why they call the main buffet the Galley. What do they actually call the Galley? This evening though, we have a booking for the test kitchen. The test kitchen basically does different tester foods, so I'm guessing it'll be sort of unusual tasters. According to other customers that we've heard from, the portions aren't particularly big and they've ended up having to go for second dinner afterwards. Whether that's actually the case, I don't know. I guess I'll find out soon and I will report back to you. Our reservation is about 35 minutes from now, so we are just going to get ourselves dressed, and I need to put my makeup on so that I look beautiful, and then we will head down there, perhaps via somewhere to get a drink, because I am incredibly thirsty after being in the sun all day. And here we are at the test kitchen, getting ready to test out some exciting new foods and maybe drinks. First impressions, it seems really nice in here. Everything's a bit of a tight squeeze, so I've got my camera and I've really struggled to get in and out of the chair with that, so I'm not sure how you would find it if you were a little bit bigger than I am as well. All the choices on the menu seem fantastic, however they do seem to use gelatin in a lot of things. We're having some minor problems with the cards at the moment. As I mentioned earlier, our card got security checked by our bank because of an unusual payment, which was our deposit, so we corrected that, but it looks like it's still not gone through on all the ship systems, which is a little bit frustrating. Anyway, they're making up the food in front of us as we talk. So we're starting off with the mushroom dish, which you saw just now, including a sort of gelatinous mushroom with mushrooms. I'm really quite excited to see how that one is. Also, Tamsin has a vegetarian gazpacho. Have a look at this one. Well, nobody needed to watch me eating, but I have to say that was absolutely amazing. And our card's unblocked now, so I've got my cocktail. Nice. The next course in the tasting menu is egg yolk and caviar, and it looks like it's got a whole load of smoke which is ready to come out when we lift the lid. I'm not sure whether we're supposed to lift the lid ourselves or wait for the waiter to come and do it, so I am not going to go first. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. It looks really nice, but what you can't tell in the video is just how good it smells. When they lifted the lid, the smoke off there, lovely wood smoke smell, it was lovely. Apparently it's applewood smoke, so I've been told we can go along and have a little look at how that's made behind the scenes. So I might go and do that a bit later. They've recommended that we mix all the ingredients together, so I shall do that in just a moment. The dish is basically an egg yolk and some peas and sturgeon caviar. Tamsin's got a vegetarian version without the egg yolk and with a sort of an apricot synthetic caviar instead. I feel quite guilty about mixing that all together when it looks so beautiful. That works so well, and you can taste the wood smoke really strongly. It's absolutely amazing. Big thumbs up to that. So the next course is scallops and ham. Again, it looks absolutely amazing. I'm actually really jealous of Tamsin's asparagus and hazelnut panna cotta. So anyway, tuck in. What is really nice here is the waitress comes around and she explains all about all of the courses. So everything that's gone into them, all the ingredients, how it's made, that sort of thing, which really adds to the experience. That was my duck main course. It was really nice. Not really much to say. Duck tends to be duck in a restaurant, so it was well done, it was really tasty, but it was just sort of duck. Tamsin had a vegetable tart. Unfortunately, that was a bit more disappointing, a bit too vinegary, a bit too dry, and just a little bit too salty, so she's not finished all of that. I had a taste of it too, and it wasn't awful, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. However, that's the first disappointment of the meal, so we are really not doing badly overall. Final course of the meal is going to be a chocolate tart. Tamsin wanted that as well, but unfortunately it's got beef gelatin in. I'm not entirely sure why there's beef gelatin in a chocolate tart, but she's got a lovely coconut and strawberry tart coming instead, so that sounds really quite tasty. That is really good.
So that's dinner finished. The chocolate pudding was absolutely amazing. I think on balance the egg and pea thing was most unusual, so probably my favourite, but every bit of it was pretty good. Tamsin's dessert, she had the coconut and strawberry dessert, wasn't bad. And you've just also seen a pumpkin pudding, and I think that was quite nice as well. So yeah, big thumbs up for this restaurant. Definitely recommended. This evening's grand plan was to go to a show, but then we decided we were just too tired. So we've been for a lovely little promenade around the main deck on deck 7, and now we are retiring for the night. Night everyone. Today's a sea day, so it seems like a really great opportunity to do a quick tour of the Galley, which is the name for the buffet line here on Virgin Voyages. So first of all, there's a drink station which you can get lemonade, apple juice, iced tea, orange juice, fizzy soda drinks, and a water dispenser. Then there's a nice little tea and coffee station. You can help yourself on this one. Yesterday the coffee was absolutely amazing, although it's not so nice today, perhaps to tempt people to pay for a nice latte. Then there is Bento Baby, which is the sushi bar, though it's breakfast time, so they currently have a selection of fruit instead. Hot Off the Press, which has a nice selection of various assorted toasts and sandwiches along with some fruit. Then we have Noodle Around. This is generally a Chinese themed eatery, although in the morning they've got a sort of buffet line instead. And then Let's Taco About It. Again, they've got a breakfast menu just now, but in the afternoon they have various taco themed food. Diner and Dash, an American themed diner area. They do a selection of omelettes which they make while you wait, and various cooked foods. Next door is the Burger Bar, which does various breakfast things at this time in the morning, but obviously as the day goes on they will swap over to burgers. And then there is Well Bread, where they do a selection of the most amazing pastries. Now I've tried some of these and they are really good. And you can also get various yogurts and the like at the sweet side. And then over to the Daily Mix. They do a selection of New York style bagels, or bagels as someone I know used to call them. Don't know if the menu choice changes as the day goes on, but those bagels look absolutely amazing. Really tempted to go and have a salmon one. And that's all the choices for the Galley. Of course, if you're feeling extravagant, you can pay for a barista coffee just by the exit from the Galley. Also, while I'm at the barista station, I've picked up an agenda for the day. A nice printed one is much easier than trying to look at everything on your mobile phone. If you fancy working out while you're on holiday, there is a really well-equipped gym. I'll give you a quick glance from the doorway, but there's lots of people exercising in there and I don't want to be weird wandering around with a video camera. It's called Burn and Bike B Complex. Just while we're out on the open deck looking for the last few eateries, I've stumbled across a pair of binoculars that you can have a little look through. I think the other passengers must have very narrow set eyes because I can't look through both eyepieces at the same time. And just up here on deck 16 is the Sundeck Cafe. So this is a lovely open air cafe, which means that if you want to sit out and have a snack, it's the place to go. It opens at midday, so they've not started serving yet, but the hard-working staff are already starting to set everything up. And just a quick shout out to the crew while I remember, they are incredibly hard-working. They work very long hours, they work very long contracts, sometimes up to about a year at a time, 7 days a week. So, big respect to the crew. For the people who've spent a small extra fortune on their cruise to get the Rockstar treatment, there is
Richard's Rooftop.
This is a security controlled area with lots of posh sun loungers. It's also over the bridge, which means you get an amazing view from the front of the ship, I assume. I can't go in there. And here I am at the fantastically named Lick Me Till ice cream, which is an ice cream bar with lots of different flavours. They've not quite opened yet, but they are just setting up. So, just looking at the flavours, there's vanilla, chocolate, key lime pie, strawberry, nougat, coconut Malibu, passion fruit, blackberry, more coconuts, and I think the same flavours again. All those ice cream flavours look fantastic to me. Not had anything yet, actually it's really cold in the air conditioning in here, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to manage an ice cream unless we take it outside, but they look so good, maybe later. And next door to the ice creams is the pizza place. Again, they're not open yet, which kind of makes it a good time to have a little look around, but they've got a lovely open plan kitchen here, so you can actually see them preparing the food. They have both indoor and outdoor seating. Then we have the Grounds Club. Here you can buy yourself a coffee or help yourself to one of a lovely selection of pastries. And there's lots of fantastic photo opportunities here if you fancy a selfie. Here I am with Skippy the seahorse, my new best friend. I'm feeling very brave. The little cafe behind me is called the Social Club. They're in the middle of running a quiz here at the moment, and there's a games room right next to me.
Thundercats, that is the Thundercats.
And the final location on my little eatery tour is the dock. Now, not open yet either. It looks like it's maybe just a little kind of buffet area. So I guess it's somewhere just to come and have a snack while you're sitting outside and sunbathing if you don't want to go into one of the main buffets or restaurants. And that concludes the mini eatery tour. So I guess the next step is to go and visit all the bars and all the bookable restaurants. First, time for a bite of brunch. How cute is this, the way they've decorated doors? Mom and Dad? Except that they've called one of their kids Whist. Why would you do that to your child? Unless it's short for something, maybe Wisteria or Wistaphone or perhaps even a Wistafer. Now off to Razzle Dazzle, and here we are in Razzle Dazzle restaurant. Now this is a casual dining experience which you do have to book. We are here for brunch. I've just had a lovely cup of coffee poured, and I've got a jalapeno croissant which hopefully you will be able to see in a photograph there, and I've just ordered a big cup breakfast, so hopefully that'll be really nice, and hopefully I'll have space to fit it all in. The restaurant looks like a really sort of modern diner. It's got a nice atmosphere, and the staff so far, like everywhere on the Virgin ship, have been really friendly and helpful. If you're vegan, there's a good choice of vegan options for brunch, although less for the main meal. Pass on. I must say the flavour combination doesn't really work for me. So we're just sitting here waiting for our food. I got my side order of bacon, and the eggs to go with the meal are also here, but they actually forgot to bring me my breakfast. And Tamsin is still waiting for hers because the waffle machine's broken, so they are just quickly repairing it. Though I'm actually already feeling quite full after my bacon and my croissant. My food's here now, and it looks delicious. So the food arrived and it was fine. We just ordered some rainbow churros for our dessert. I don't actually have a lot of space left for dessert, but I couldn't resist the opportunity for the rainbow churros. I'm sharing it with Tamsin actually. I'm hoping she'll eat most of it so I don't have to, but it does look so good. That is so good. So, overall impressions of Razzle Dazzle. Food was quite nice. I wouldn't call it excellent, but I did still quite enjoy it. The melon starter looks spectacular, so that's probably one to try. Maybe if we go there again, we'll do that. All of the main courses seem pretty mediocre, unfortunately. As I say, not bad, but not great. However, the desserts, you really have to try the rainbow churros. They are so nice. They came along with ice cream, which I think was probably Parma Violet or Lavender, though Tamsin is not entirely convinced by my opinion on that one. So who knows what the ice cream is. It's purple though, and it is so good. So, Razzle Dazzle, definitely worth a visit. Next on our agenda for the day is Happy Holidays with the hostess and friends. Now this is a cabaret show which is down in the manor again, so we're going to try and get there a little bit early and get the seating downstairs rather than the upstairs area, because it's kind of nicer not to have to look down on everyone. I think the views are better from downstairs. The danger, of course, is that if you're sitting too close to the front, you are at risk of being forced into
Audience participation.
So top tip if you're coming to the manor, not everywhere has an excellent view. Make sure you get here early and get some good position.
Come on, it's lovely when what's there together with you.
Just a quick review, now we are back from the Happy Holiday Cabaret show. It was okay, probably not the strongest show I've ever seen, and our seating wasn't brilliant. Also, we made the mistake of letting someone squeeze in next to us, and they didn't quite grasp the idea of squeezing, so I hadn't realised, but Tamsin was hanging halfway off the seat after these people came to join us. So if you've got a free afternoon, it's maybe worth a watch. But we're kind of wishing that we'd just gone and sat in the sun and read for a little bit. Our other little gripe about the manor venue is the general layout. Now the way it's all set up, if you're sitting anywhere on the side, the view is terrible. What would be really good is if the central dance floor area had a little catwalk stage, and that would really improve the ability of everybody in the room to see the show. Just time for a quick message before I go down to Gunbae restaurant for dinner. Now Gunbae is a Korean grill restaurant, so they basically cook meat there at the table right there in front of you. I'm heading down there on my own because clearly a table where they cook meat in front of you is not particularly vegetarian friendly, so Tamsin's going to sit this one out. I think she'll probably go out to the buffet tonight instead. I'm going to take my book down with me just so I can avoid trying to make random small talk. Not really, I'll probably talk to loads of people down there. But my table is booked in 1 minute and I have absolutely no sense of direction, so there's a high chance that I'll get lost on the way. So I better get cracking and leave right now. I'll see you down there.
Going up. Deck 15.
So this is Gunbae, I found it and I'm only 5 minutes late. Quite a big queue considering that it's a pre-bookable restaurant. So here I am sitting in Gunbae, slightly nervous in case I'm sitting next to loads of boring people. So just a quick review of Gunbae after finishing. I really enjoyed it. Huge amounts of food. I couldn't actually eat everything. Definitely not a good location if you're vegetarian. Even if you don't eat the meat, it's all cooking there. Anyway, I've had to rush out before we quite finished to get to a show. I'm also completely lost.
Let's get to know each other, shall we? We're gonna come say hi. And remember, you never know what surprises might await you here.
That show was called Lola's Library. The singers were really good and the dancers were amazing as well. Lots of naughty innuendo, lots of spectacular costumes and things. I would say that one is well worth a watch.